Okay, this is from Merchant of Venice. This is Portia's very famous speech about mercy in the courtroom. The quality of mercy is not strained, it droppeth, as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives, and him that takes. My name is Elizabeth Ware, and in terms of occupation, I guess, number one, I'm an actor, but I'm also a teaching artist. So I travel around the state, but I also teach at UAA in the theater department. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in early December 2011. So I am right now in the process of going through the treatment plan, which hopefully will be finished in May. And I'm not being brave or anything. I think I'm making a rational, I think it's a rational course to take my life. Granted, I indulge in pity parties as often as I can, but not really. It's, I have to be really to feel sorry for myself. There are a lot of people who are a lot worse off with this disease. I want to hear the Susie cream cheese line.
No, I don't think. She's going to contradict me, but I just got back from Europe, and I guess I thought I was pretty cool, but we went through a whole year where Liz and I did work on productions together, and were pleasant to each other, but really nothing happened in that year. I asked her out a couple of times, and she turned me down.
No.
And so I thought, oh, well, that's the way things go. So the next year, which would have been my senior year and Liz's sophomore year, I think. That sound right? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
I was sitting in the theater waiting to audition, and Elizabeth walked in, and suddenly it was Old Home Week. I didn't know you were coming back, and I was just so surprised the way she had reacted. I guess she had actually missed me over the summer, because she plopped down next to me. We started talking, and I'm not sure if that was the night I walked you home, and
I think we moved in together a couple of days later. Yeah.
And so from that point, we
summer.
became the regulars of the department. There was a new director in the theater, and whenever he needed something done, he sort of counted on us to do it.
And they called us the Lunts.
And they called us the Lunch there. Yes,
Yeah.
they did. I'll tell you, it's kind of, especially since we knew nothing about it at that time. We didn't know what kind of cancer it was, and my mother had cancer. My mother had breast cancer, and some of Liz's relatives also had breast cancer. So of course, immediately we went to the dark side, and we both held on to each other and thought, what are we going to do? Luckily, we got in very quickly with a physician's assistant, and she answered a lot of our questions right away, and it was not nearly as serious as we thought it could be. So it was probably one of the most terrifying moments of my life. But again, I'm not going through it, and I keep having to remind myself I'm just kind of the one who stands by and witnesses in so many ways. But boy, it hits the whole family. Somebody said it's the process of cancer, and in a lot of ways it is.
Kids ask me when I go into schools, they say, when did you know you first wanted to be an actor? And I can't remember a time when I didn't want to be involved in the performing arts. First it was dance, but it moved pretty quickly to acting. And, that goes back to my childhood. Gosh, it began when I was 4 or 5 years old. My grandmother used to read Shakespeare to us as children and as young children. And I credit her a great deal with the direction my life took. But my husband and I, when we were finished with graduate school and kind of flopping around, figuring out what kind of work we were going to do, where we were going to settle, we ended up in a little town in Central California called Visalia at the California Shakespeare Festival. And we were the education directors for this Shakespeare Festival. And we met a lot of people that were very prominent in American theater. It was really a great experience. But that festival folded, and we also that we needed real income, not just summer income. And so David got a job teaching in the Midwest in Indianapolis, Indiana. And we relocated to Indiana. Came back one season to Northern California. And by then our son was born, and it was too much effort to pick up and move the whole family for summer employment. So at around the same time, someone came to us in Indianapolis from the Parks and Recreation Department and said, we think our city needs a Shakespeare festival, and we've been told you two are the ones to do it. Over 30 years, I can't remember.
What is it, 36 now? My God.
We were married in 75, so can you do the math? It's going to be 37 this year.
7 years in June.
37 years in June.
And 37 years later, we're still on stage. We're kind of like the Lunts in a lot of ways, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You don't get on stage very much.
Oh, I do a little bit. Yeah. We know with Cyrano's alone, we've done more than 35.
Yeah.
That's just here.
Right.
If we take our time
Then
before
there was
Cyrano's,
Shakespeare.
I'd say we're probably closing up on 100, probably.
Or more. Yeah, I think it's more.
I'm around there anyway.
It seems like more. And this is a play. I wasn't 100% behind it when we were first presented with the notion of doing it. But the more we've rehearsed this play, I think everybody involved in it is really finding the depth in it now.
And the fun in it. I think it's much more of a comedy than when we first read it. Often.
I see that Lynn is swimming in the buff again. The times that I have seen that woman in clothes, I could count on the fingers of a fish.
Often when we're considering a play, Elizabeth and I read it together, and we split up the parts as much as we can. Read it in bed or sitting up in chairs at home, and it kind of just sat there. Yeah, it didn't bounce off the page like I really want to do this. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, I guess so. But the more we've worked on it, of course, we've got this incredible dream cast, and everybody is finding such amazing stuff to do. I'm really loving it. Yeah, it's always exciting. Frequently that happens, though. You have a script that you're not entirely sold on, and lo and behold, as you work on it, you start falling in love.
You could be such an extraordinary woman if only you would. Love's the only thing that can bring happiness, the kind of enchanting, poetical love that sweeps away the sorrows of the world. I had no time for it when I was laying siege to the fortress of literature, but now at last it's come. Why?
Why, you're mad? Why are you all conspiring to torture me
She
today?
doesn't understand me. She won't understand me.
Am I so old and ugly that you can talk to me that way about another woman? I kiss him, I embrace him. You've lost your senses. I fall on my knees. You're my pride, my joy. I hug your knees. You want to do a foolish thing, but I won't let you. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Laugh, laugh, laugh. You're so fresh, so simple, so deeply humorous.
Deep and humorous.
No.
Well, why would she say deeply humorous?
Yeah, that sounds over the top even for her.
Read it aloud.
You are so fresh, so simple, so deeply. Hey.
Oh, hey.
I do apologize.
It really is deeply humorous?
I should have worn my glasses.
From where, please? I'm not starting at the top. It wasn't my error.
You're tormenting.
What's the difference?
Tormenting me.
Well, if I'm tormenting you, I'm doing it now. If I'm frightening you, the tormenting is yet to come.
So you're tormenting me.
Now I am, yes. Although you were probably frightened before.
You're at the very end. You're at the very, very end.
I'm at the very end.
At the very end of it. Yes.
It's the story of my life.
Take me away with you, but don't let me stray one step from your side.
Finita!
I hit a bump in the road. I was right before spring break. It always is when I'm scheduled to leave town. I don't know why, but I had to go in for a follow-up mammogram, a post-surgical mammogram, and I got this phone call from the radiologist, and she said,
there's something suspicious, so you need to come in for another biopsy. And he's just like, "Oh, what now?" So I spent all of spring break dreading a second biopsy and sure that they would find more cancer. However, they did the second biopsy and I got the phone call they did it on Monday, I got the phone call on Wednesday that it was benign. So I didn't have to have more surgery, which made me very happy. And it only set the radiation therapy back a week. So I am on tomorrow will be day number 13 of radiation therapy. I go in every morning. It takes about 3 minutes
After the radiation.
after the radiation.
Yeah.
We're gonna do something
Yeah.
special. We got the show, but I don't know, maybe we could go to Hatch or Pass for
No,
overnight or something. I
I'll
don't
just
know.
be glad when that's over. That's these
Yeah.
are little moments, and each one has its own little drama associated with it, and finally that's finished.
I don't know, Europe sounds good to me.
That would be good, or maybe Hawaii would be wonderful. But And I remember in particular one of the nights we spent all night working on the set, and even the director had left, and it was a set with a big bed on it. So nothing happened that night except that we slept together for the first time in the bed on stage. Don't remember that? Okay, that was La Ronde.
But I know what show it was,
Mhm.
but that's very
So,
sweet.
Yeah, I think that was kind of
You
sweet.
sure that
but
wasn't some other blonde?
I was a real gentleman that night, so
Oh.
I wouldn't want to destroy the sanctity of the stage. So